Now time.
We've made it.
We did it.
Mouth. Goodbye. No tomorrow. What are they thinking? What do they want to take away from Naventic? Many options here. You talk about, the heroes like Vala that just have such safe poke. You talk about the warriors that have high priority, or goaltenders like Tassadar.
That's an interesting pickup. That is not something you see a first ban out of, and they might have some inside information. Perhaps they know something from scrims, or maybe they know that some compositions that Naventic likes to run. That is not something I see very often on this map.
Yeah, unexpected, but not the worst thing in the world. I would say there is a possibility they're looking for a Zagara, as Tassadar is one of the better responses to deal with creep spread. Or maybe they do want to go for Zeratul. Zeratul did get that nice rework, and definitely could be something they're looking to grab here. Just removing the Vision, Malfurion, of course, Moonfire. We think of that as a great way to reveal Zeratul, as well as the Oracle on Tass. Who knows? ETC, a safe lock-in here on the side of Naventic. No surprise there.
You know, there's a lot of question marks when we look at No Tomorrows. Who's going to be playing what role and what fashion are we going to see? Is Urho going to go back to playing kind of that warrior role that we last saw him on way back in Naventic? He's kind of been in and out, potentially playing. We see him. He's definitely trying to qualify for next year. But then you have somebody like Talking Trees, and it's a name that we never really got to say a lot of because he played a flex role. He literally can play multiple roles. And that was kind of one of the big things is when he was on that Guster Bus, the old Astral Authority roster, is that they sometimes made it into that top four, but they never quite made it over the hump. But he was one of the main reasons why they did as well as they did. And I think that with him on this team, it might give him an opportunity to shine. But we got to see who's going to be on what role playing what. First pick Johanna, though, Jake.
I kind of like that just because it's so safe. Piggy bank, goaltending, the rotations, you name it. She's rock solid for Tomb in particular. However, they are spending a ton of time. Their bonus pool is already below half of its entire amount. And I'm actually intrigued to see Li Ming over Vala.
It could just be a matter of comfort.
Yeah.
I think that with Johanna, that gives you significant amount of wave clear. It also helps you during the rotations and stuff like that. Johanna being one of the best wave clear assists in the game, but that also, I'm surprised we don't see Muradin. I mean, Muradin, the survivability, the playmaking potential, I think, is a little bit higher with him. But if you're going for that wave clear, maybe you're going into other heroes that might not be necessarily there. Could it be that Zeratul? And you need to be able to prioritize stuff like that.
Well, speaking of Vala, Naventic will lock that in rather quickly. Now they'll give some consideration if they want to grab a support before we go into the bans. Malf already being locked out here. It's not the worst scenario to go for Brightwing, but far from necessary as well.
There is, let's see, Naventic, Gul'dan. I'm not surprised at all that we're seeing Gul'dan. I am a little bit surprised we're seeing Gul'dan Vala. I mean, that gives you sustained damage, I think, from both aspects, but Vala brings a little bit more of that burst potential. Gul'dan, obviously, with that tremendous amount of wave clear, he does suffer. I think it helps him on the map that it's smaller and he has shorter retreat points, but it also lends to the fact that he can get caught out and might not necessarily be able to take the angles as some of the other maps would give him to basically play a little bit safer.
Am I the only one that's tilted that I can see Gul'dan's foot in his portrait?
I can't see it on mine. I wonder if I need to go full screen.
Oh, your resolution's a lot smaller, that's why. Well, Ariel has been banned on the side of No Tomorrow, trying to constrict the support options as they will have the next two picks for their team. Naventic likely will not do that. The supports, they're going to avoid those bans this time. If they're worried about double warrior, something like maybe Chen, that's an option for them to ban. Or maybe Falstad. Maybe they'll go for a ranged hero as they've already got their double range.
Let's see. Malfurion and Ariel already off. I can't see them banning out a support here, but I mean, they've already got good damage in Li Ming.
Huh.
They do ban out Morales. It's just something they don't want to deal with. Interesting.
All right. Well, that's just going to be a snap locking on Rhaegar. No Tomorrow. Johanna not really the best lone frontliner. Illidan doesn't excel on Tomb of the Spider Queen. It's just not as large of a map as you would like. You want to be able to chase. Illidan takes a while to deal that damage and just stick to the targets that he wants to kill. So I'm curious if we'll see Earthquake Thrall here. I actually really like Earthquake on Tomb.
Thrall is a hero that we saw Tomster play quite a bit of. I think Thrall and Alarak are the next going to be one of those two. I think it seems more likely that we'll see that out of Naventic. We've seen Zuna switch over to more of that ranged assassin role to do more damage, but Tyrael offering a little bit more stability on that front line, and I really like that pickup because it's going to be able to counter a lot of what Naventic would presumably be doing. I think Thrall and Alarak are two likely choices, but we haven't seen them in a while, so we'll see what they pick here.
It's also a potential denial because Zuna is one of the most prominent Tyrael players in all of North America.
I don't see him. I think he's done. I think he's
with
done.
The Tyrael?
I think he is strictly going to be playing the roles to where he feels more impactful doing that damage. Here it is.
Tyrande.
Whoa! Ooh. I did not see that coming.
No, me neither. Lone support Tyrande. Now, they did this back at PAX. Kenma busted out the Tyrande, and this is a pick composition, but it's definitely a different spin on it. Gul'dan wasn't in the meta at all at the time, but ETC, Misha, I mean, that's stuns for days. Rain of Vengeance later in the mix. But we're seeing the Greymane on the side of No Tomorrow. That's a classic, the Tyrael Greymane that we don't see a lot of. Both of these comps, very, very unique.
The scary part, now you can get a little bit of stun potential between a lot of the heroes, ETC, Tyrande, Rexxar, if they come in when it gets to those 5-on-5 team fights later, but you're lacking a significant amount of healing when you go into a solo Tyrande and you're Gul'dan. Yes, he has opportunities for him to heal up, but when those are burned, if the fight goes on, Gul'dan all of a sudden becomes a liability. Vala does have the vault, but a very low health pool. There's a lot of potential on both sides, but you got to think that No Tomorrow's composition is very, very threatening to that of Naventic here, and Rexxar being picked up. Do you remember back in DreamHack Austin back in May, Cloud9, when they were still around, and they ran Misha, Tyrande versus Naventic? It's like taking what used to work against you and making it your own a little bit.
I mean, that's a dream classic, but Tomster going to be doing that himself. So, game number 1, they are starting out with a bang here in this series. Should be an interesting best of 5 if it stays anything like this.
This is excellent drafts, I think, by both teams. And if you were to take the names off the top there, I'd say the Tyrael Greymane composition is my favorite when I look at these two, but Tomb of the Spider Queen, man, always potential to be really long game. So who can sustain the longest? Or who can just get kills the quickest?
Who can just slaughter their foes more efficiently? We're about to find out, guys. Game number 1, best of 5. Take it to Twitter and let your friends know that we are here with 2 qualifiers back-to-back best of 5 series to determine the first 2 teams to join Astral Authority and Denial Esports in the North America 2017 HGC season.
Make no mistake about it. This is a big deal for both teams, and despite the fact that they're online, I guarantee the pressure for some of these guys once it starts to settle in has got to be high.
The pressure is there, but our teams are here, and we are loading on in. On the left side, the blue team, that is No Tomorrow. Talking Trees going to be on the Li Ming, Casanova playing Greymane, Urho on Tyrael, Tiger JK sitting there on the Rhaegar, and Jason rounding it out on Johanna.
And on the other side is going to be your Naventic representatives. B-Kid brought over. He is the new addition. Going to be on ETC. Zuna on Vala. Big impact on Gul'dan. Tomster on Rexxar. And Kenma going to be rounding it out on Tyrande.
I'm so happy he's using the Space Bear. Like, I see people play Rexxar without this skin, and it just makes me sad.
And the Cloud9 mount.
It looks good.
I mean, if you're going to stall the minions, they'll come up and get a little bit of damage on that cannon. No big deal there. So we see Tomster keeping an eye with Misha.
Holding 2 lanes, really.
Ooh, they're looking for early picks.
Okay. Well, a lot of just lingering in the bushes right now, hiding their position while they collect the gems. Can't really let those go, but good protection here, denying all 3 of these gems from being collected in the top lane.
The biggest thing to look for is going to be the rotations between the top 2 lanes and the kill potential. When you look at the fact that you have ETC Tyrande, look for him to go through. There's our first comp, but Iron Skin was used. B-Kid going to be punished, but is Jason going to be punished as well? A trade there, but the winning trade as 3 members of Naventic get instantly blown up. That's Greymane for you.
Yeah, I'd say winning's almost an understatement. I mean, that turnaround was beautiful. They had the focus. We're talking about the blow-up composition of Tyrande, but guess what? Tyrande is an easy hero to blow up as well. She doesn't have the same kind of healing. She doesn't have the same kind of retreat that some of the supports have. And if you step forward to finish off that kill, well, that's what happens sometimes.
That's definitely what happens. Stun goes out. Urho going to have his hands full there with Misha on that front line. The corruption stacks trying to settle in, but also those fell flames getting out. There's the interruption that I talked about. You just see B-Kid up there just disrupting the rotations, keeping an eye on things. Well, I love that sound of that skin.
You know, actually, that skin, it feels more responsive to me. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I play better when I use that skin, which is a really weird thing to say.
Ooh, Tiger JK taking quite a bit of damage. B-Kid and team rotating down. You guys see the Eldruin's might. The power slide is avoided. The stun goes down. Urho, the extra stun from Misha.
A lot of damage thrown on there, but the well is available for both of those 2 heroes, so just going to be a cool down spent.
That's a threat, though. That is a constant threat until you get that cleanse. The good thing is Johanna has that iron skin. You have to hold that appropriately. You saw a good use of Eldruin's might there. And then the avoidance with that dodge, but cleanse at level 7. Got to be the next thing. There's the follow-up again. The stun is on. The damage is in. Urho getting bodied.
Oh, my goodness. Kenma doesn't have the owl.
Wow. I guarantee that's 10 health or less right there.
Oh, yeah, that's almost nothing. So, unfortunate for Naventic, they're not getting that kill. Iron Skin used very preemptively in fear of the power slide coming through with the follow-up of Kenma. And that's a cooldown for Jason, making him a bit vulnerable for the next few moments. All in all, though, let's just get an update on the gem count. 31 to, I guess, that's 38 in total here on the side of No Tomorrow. Pretty darn even.
Let's, oh, there's a little bit of blind going in there. Wait a minute, I see you. Just checking.
The flashlight.
Nothing wrong with checking there. That's a huge tool to be able to keep an eye on things here as we see the owl being shot down to get more vision to see who's rotating up and possibly disrupt any turn-in at the bottom. We don't have any like hard CC on the side of No Tomorrow. I just realized that there's some slows, there's the condemn.
I mean, they're just about raw kill power, right? You think about Li Ming and Greymane, the burst, the dominance, the go for the throw, everything about that to try to snowball fights is what they're looking for. And then, of course, there's a huge amount of pressure on Urho with Sanctification.
Yeah, that'll definitely come as the game goes on, but more importantly, level 7 going to be here soon for that of No Tomorrow to be able to cleanse out a lot of that. As you see it dive in by Casanova all over Biggie. Not able to get there, but some corruption stacks going in. He's about a third of the way there, Jake.
Slowly making his way, but the gem count is also making its way as the first summon of the Web Weavers will be in favor of No Tomorrow, dropping off those 50 gems. So we'll have to see what damage they can get done. Level 7 will be readily available on both sides. So not really a favor in that regard.
Not at all. It's just a matter of how do you defend it. And you can see posturing up again is going to be B-Kid and Kenma looking for any type of pressure from No Tomorrow to see if they can capitalize on it. There's Urho. There's 1 stun. There's 2 stuns. There's a third. The damage is there. Urho using that Eldruin's. Is the owl going to be able to secure the kill? The shields help him get away. 1 more by the skin of his teeth, Jake.
I mean, they threw everything they had, and it was just barely not enough once again. So, you know, good on him to be able to escape the clutches. The Web River will be cleaned up quite quickly, but across the map, big damage being applied. Biggie cannot hold this on his own. Wall will go down. Mid lane, the story is the same, so the experience has taken a nice lead in favor of the side of No Tomorrow.
Yeah, they have, and this is going to be up to Naventic to be able to get a turn-in of their own before level 10 is picked up by No Tomorrow as we see the corruption stacks continuing to go out. B-Kid and team, they're looking for a priority target. Urho trying to bait it out. Eldruin's is already used. He is going to pay. Nat is finally the death that they had been looking for a while.
Nicely done from B-Kid there. He just hung out by that sword while the rest of the team put the chase on and just, made sure it was an easy kill, and that's exactly what it was. Experience still in favor on the side of No Tomorrow, but with the turn-in available, if they're able to get those gems dropped off, they can easily even the odds going into level 10.
Yeah, it seems that Tomster's going to be holding on to a lot of those there on Rexar. You know that Misha's going to be trying to zone those out, so he'll have those gems, and he's already rotating up. We're going to see if Jason goes up to try and defend as Misha being microed there. Iron Skin was already used.
He scouted with a flashlight, but it was just a little bit too shy, and now Iron Skin having been cast already.
Get that sidewall down. Get me out of here, guys.
Well played. The pick with the turn-in evens the odds for level 10, and this could be Naventic taking a nice lead, actually.
That's exactly what they needed, Jake, to be able to get that turn-in, to be able to get it right before 10 hits, else they were going to be stalled out much, much longer for the fear of those heroics, but they got the kill, they got the turn-in.
Aldruin's set in position, and Zuna just rotates down, jukes the orb. Well played.
B-Kid got sniffed out there. Imagine if they push forward just a little bit. The kill potential, man, is so threatening from this team from Naventic.
Well, Rexar does have control of bottom 10 here for both teams. Anything out of the ordinary. ETC's holding, but everything else is pretty standard. Shadowstalk was locked in, a absolute necessity for the lone support Toronto.
Unleash the Boars is going to be there. It's going to be able to have that lockdown potential further going into what they do. That 40% slow is a pretty big deal. So when it comes to those team fights and you can't outrun it, the fear is used. A little bit of anti-synergy going on there. Shadowstalk now being used.
The power slide was just about there when that Horrify came through. Sanctification in a nice position, but not really doing a whole lot. They thought they were going to be able to body block B-Kid, but he just went down and around.
That was a scary moment for, I think, both those teams, but the fear followed up by the Rain of Vengeance not exactly go together there, Jake.
Yeah, no, just a bit of miscommunication, as you mentioned, but at the end of the day, they've still got the fort. They've still evened the XP. And Horrify will be available before you know it.
I mean, it's basically dead even in terms of experience. 46 and 42 gems. Both teams need 55 for their next turn-in. I mean, we have ourselves an even game all over again, except for both teams have that matching top fort down.
Man, Misha is such a boss.
Misha.
I hate how well you can do that.
We see another turn-in. I think it's a good play by them to be able to get that turn-in, but the camp picked up on the side of No Tomorrow.
Looking at
trees.
Oh, that's not. They're just waiting. Good restraint there from trees.
Do they find themselves locked in behind enemy lines, though? Misha and company starting to rotate up. Shadowstalk has been used. See the Eldruins on the backside. Blessed Shield has been used.
And the Greymane is going to town, but the Rain of Vengeance for the peel. Horrify comes out as well. Biggie is insanely low. Toronto with so little healing, and the Smite will pick up the kill. Trees in the back. Tomster is on the case, but can't really commit. Misha's going to be leashed at the last moment and not able to finish off that kill.
Wow, they went for the kill, Jay. Got stuck way far behind enemy lines and could not find their way out successfully.
Oh, man. Really close, though. I mean, we talked about Horrify just being off cooldown barely. Almost worked out in the end. The Smite just barely reaching Gul'dan, who went up to the top portion.
Did you say that Misha barely didn't make it there in time?
It was close.
Barely?
I hate you so much.
Well, the turn-in now for No Tomorrow as they get... Oh, excuse me. That's for Naventic. They got the turn-in.
Stuck it in.
And so 13 almost here for both teams. But as the game goes on, these Web Weavers definitely get stronger. We'll see what they can do with it.
Now, I love the idea of the Boars setting up things like mosh pits, setting up things like Horrify, and they're 15 seconds away from that. If they can take this wall down, they really open up the whole top portion of the map. And it's going to you need to be able to kind of chase when you throw those boars out. So this composition is only going to get scarier as we go into the mid to the late game.
We see them posturing up. They definitely want to try and take this fort here. The one at the bottom being defended by Greymane. They realize they have a numbers advantage. They're really close to 13. As you said, the threat of mosh pit is there.
Horrify just came off cooldown as well. They're just respecting the pressure, backing away, conceding this fort. Web Weaver's pushing down top. They can just rotate up to defend that. Naventic will probably just go for the bottom fort here if they do see them put a heavy presence in the top lane.
How aggressive Zuna's being up there. I mean, solo support to Ronda, no fear, going up there, recognizing the potential that he has on Bala. Putting a lot of pressure onto No Tomorrow.
and they're just doing their best to maintain their presence so that the top lane can do some damage, and the wall will go down. So they held on to that positioning for a long time. The moment they show even a single member, they say, well, we have clear advantage, we can do whatever we want, and they get to the bottom 4. Insanely valuable turn-in.
It was a great call. There's a lockdown, though, and I think the cleanse was used on Urho. He dives back in. Beacon stuck behind enemy lines once again. A Sanctification has been used.
But now with Sanctum cooldown, Tyrande still a Shadow Stalk. I believe she still has Healing Ward, or just about. They're not going to commit to it, though. They know it's a 5v5. Why take the fight?
That's they got a little bit of value. They didn't get the fort down that they wanted, as we can see. Tomster dodging some magic missiles there, dodging the orb. They are split right now, Jake.
The Boars could be huge here. There they go. The Boars have come out from Arexar. Shadowstalk to engage the power slide with a two-person Lunar Flare, and without the Sanctification, that is one dead Tyrael.
Tomster takes a bit of damage from that exploding Tyrael while he's there. Zuna is there with the Ancestral onto Casanova, and Zuna being so aggressive right now. As you can see, the slow onto Jason. He takes some corruption stacks going in. The stun is there. Johanna goes down.
Riggedy wrecked there. I mean, just annihilated in that moment. Johanna had no chance for survival without the Iron Skin. And unfortunately, they're now in a position where we have a pause.
That's everybody's favorite moment. 3, 2, 3.
3-3. Spam it in chat.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
The dankest of the memes.
Yeah, we all right. I think they're already ready. Just a quick pause, probably a leg cramp or something like that. I don't know how many people were around back in January, but
oh man, leg cramps.
They're real, man.
It happens sometimes.
Not just in real sports, but esports too.
That was a glorious
I
moment.
love this. This reminds me of Naventic from earlier this year. They see an opportunity and they know when to back out. But at the same time, they're a little bit crazy in their aggression, right? Mm-hmm. They see an opportunity and they're like, guys, we got to stay on this. We got to stay. Even when the Ancestral came out, they stayed on it. Even when it looked like Johanna was going to get away, they're like, no, we stay on this. And Zuna, as that shot caller, he's up there on Bala. You best be assured that they are going to follow him into battle as he's calling it out. I love their play style.
Well, we can see the damage output of Zuna on that Vala is substantial. Very powerful hero, but the collapse coming in. They're looking for the fight pre-16. Shadowstalk has been used for the disengage, and
trees.
That's a win in itself. There it is. Turn it.
I mean, that entire time, they were able to get the lanes pushed up, so these web weavers are going to spawn in the middle of the map, and I think that's a pretty big deal, and this camp here is definitely going to help, and this fort will not stand for long.
And that's going to even the experience quite a bit. 16 not too far away. Safe rotation down to bottom. Their bottom fort is taking more damage than they would like from this safe poke from the minions, but the web weavers have arrived, and they'll just look for their siege in the bottom lane.
They're trying to get as much value, as much lane control as they possibly can, and this is one way to do it, to get that up. And this is where strategy really comes into the Spider Queen. It's not always about getting the maximum structure damage. Of course, that's the goal, but it's also allowing yourself some control over the map in general to be able to put the fight back on even terms, so that when you get that next turn in with that next team fight, you have yourself an advantage just by having all three lanes pushed up.
Yeah, it's really quite nice for them to get all this opened up, even the odds with the XP, even though they didn't have to drop that many gems. I think they still have a decent-sized bank in their pocket. Looking at the talents, we do actually have True Shot Aura picked up here for Tyrande. So that's going to be really nice, at least for Zuna on Vala, to be able to really lay down the damage.
That's a big deal, and this is that lane. They prioritize this, and they've pushed all the way up to the keep. They got this keep wall, Jake, looking really good with this push.
They're back in it. The game has been evened up, 46 gems. Actually dead even for the gem count. Just 5 differential. And 4 to 5 in terms of the kills. No tomorrow. Impressive showing so far.
All right, quick look at some of those questing talents. Conjurer's Pursuit, or excuse me, Regeneration Master almost done on the side of Johanna. And then on the other side, Echoed Corruption was completed. But more importantly, Incendiary Elixir, about 90% of the way there for Greymane. That'll add some punch as we go on when you get that cooldown reduction.
Half the health from that combo once you got Mirror Ball in the mix. I mean, yeah, those questing talents to make a difference, but some of these Standard old school builds work very nicely. Sanctification and the Ancestral both being used, but Urho staying alive. Shadowstalk as the response with the Boris flying on out, and they're looking for Tomster, but he's got the Feigned Death with the Horrify to try to maintain his life. The Mirror Ball lines up, not all of them hitting, some connected with the Misha, and it looks like we might have a fight still going on here.
Yeah, the power slide, the follow-up. Rain of Vengeance is down. Urho has that amplified damage, but Bala finds herself in the middle of that. Now Kenma and B-Kid trying to get out of here. Nice knockback there as Tyrande goes down. B-Kid, will he be the next to fall? Power slides away. I don't see him making it out of here.
There it is, a triple kill, a keep with
Mighty
Giants
game.
here. This could be it.
Jake, this is a big deal. Even if you get the keep, that's crucial on a map like this. They're posturing up behind the keep. The only two to save it are Gul'dan and Rexar. Do we have a game number 1 upset as the totem goes down, keeping the heels alive?
I think this is going to be that game 1 upset in J-How because Misha, she can't do it all herself, but Tiger does end up falling. The single kill counts for a good bit, but the core is falling rapidly. Casanova will end up going down to Misha. The kill here coming in towards Gul'dan. 40% remaining with the respawns. Zuna's back in.
Zuna's back in. Urho is about to fall. We're going to see some damage. Jason, the only one left, 19%, 17, 12, 11%. And they throw on the core, but this is not a game-winning spot for Naventic, but they are just holding on ever so slightly.
Oh, so they're insanely vulnerable to a backdoor. 5 members down. The boss is the play. They have to end it here. Pick up the boss, march for top lane, end the game. They're way too vulnerable to the backdoor. This window will force a defensive posture out of the side of No Tomorrow, but if they, I mean, this is it. The one chance.
It's going to be a tough call. I don't know if they're going to go for it. I think they're going to possibly look to push up the lanes. They don't have enough gems to get another web weaver. I think they're just going to try and push the lanes up right now.
Oh, man.
This at least gives them, it buys them time.
I think you got a YOLO.
It's definitely something that we would see out of Naventic from time to time. I'm not sure if they feel comfortable with it, but the boss buys them time in the top lane. They've now pushed out the middle lane. The top lane will be pushed out. We already see a priority for this bottom lane. So at least they're going to have vision on those lanes to prevent any major backdoor potential. But it buys them time, and I think that's really what they're looking for.
Well, they got time. They got gems. They're 5 away from a turn-in.
Ooh.
They're looking for the
The
party
totem
bush.
gives you vision.
Wow, that was really clean.
Got him. I like that a lot. That was a really good play, and sometimes you see a lot of people, they get in a bad position, but take a look at this. Double camps. Pushing in now.
Yeah. The big besiege in the mid lane. Bottom not an issue at the moment. They're keeping them in their base.
No, they're definitely keeping them in with this right now. They've got the gate opened up. You've got to be careful if you're talking trees not to get caught. He's the only one with that true interrupt for that potential mosh pit. You can see B-Kid posturing for that.
So they just need 1 more gem. They can get that in a number of places. Actually dropping off the gems is another story. We'll see how well they can do that. 45 from Tomster.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the piggy bank. I love the Misha. Just kind of holding ground.
All right, they have enough. Let's see if they can get the turn in. They're pushing up the lane, trying to get more value out of these lanes, but at the same time, level 20 picked up. That's a bigger deal there for No Tomorrow. So they find themselves on even footing in terms of this game. One bad fight on the side of Naventic, it's going to be GG.
Could go either way, actually, at this point. Now that they've opened up both mid and top, they have options. And they're looking to get in towards the core. Forcing the fight. The Boars have come out. B-Kid in a great spot to try to find that mosh pit. Can he land it?
Oh, man, Urho got absolutely blown up. Sanctification not even able to be used. As you see, he does return some damage as he explodes there. And they are not done yet. Can Misha catch somebody, Jake?
Oh my goodness, the charge goes forward, gets Johanna. Misha's very low. The orb not going to get the kill because that men pet is topping him off. And they're going to be able to just safely turn in and look to even up things in the mid and top lane. But again, they're so vulnerable to a backdoor.
They are. Just getting there is going to be the tough spot. Being able to keep vision and get these lanes pushed up by Naventic affords you so much vision on these lanes that the only path is between that middle and, I mean, you can go between the top one, but generally it's going to be between the middle and bottom lane.
Oh, they're just pushing this out. They want to line up mid and top. get those keeps down. Sentinel has been scouting very successfully, getting eyes on 2 to 3 members at a time, confirming they're not trying to do anything weird. And they have made sure they had a nice concave covering all of the blind spots so that no one can sneak by them.
All right, this is a tense moment. If you can get a keep or 2 down, you can find yourself looking for a kill. We haven't seen a mosh pit in a while, and it's so tough because if it gets interrupted, all of a sudden you're there and you find yourself in a bad spot. Jake!
That's a bad spot if I ever saw one. One dead Rhaegar. Tomster is low, but the feigned death is going to be enough to stay alive. Urho already using that sanctification, the next one to die here. Will his explosion get anything done? Just on Misha.
Feigned death has been such a useful tool. You don't want to dive on that Rexar because of that. And now it's up to Talking Trees to try and defend. 2 members are down for no tomorrow. The camps, or excuse me, the Web Weavers are pushing. Top lane still has a little bit of health. 2 keeps down, Jake.
What looked like was a win for No Tomorrow. 11% throw on the core. The blow-up actually going to be enough to get Greymane, and this is looking good for Naventic.
This is a comeback that we did not necessarily see coming as you're down to 11% health. Zuna is probably somehow still alive. They're prioritizing him at 60% on the core. I don't see them surviving.
Yeah, they threw a lot of focus towards Zuna, and the rest of the team just wailing away. 10% remain. GG, Naventic. To game 1 and quite the nail biter, James.
How much are they sweating right now after being able to defend against that? Nice play, and you got to take a look at Tomster on that defense on that core, man.
Yeah.
Misha and company. Misha.